From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the shortwave facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media, or Voice of America, on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang in Review. As the year draws to a close, it is worth revisiting the key government initiatives aimed at tackling hunger and strengthening social welfare. Acting on the directive of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, continues to scale up its anti-hunger campaign through Walang Gutom 2027. Launched in 2023 under Executive Order No. 44, the program targets a reduction in food insecurity among 750,000 households by 2027. Early results show progress. Hunger incidence among beneficiary families has declined from 48.7% to 41.5% as of March 2025. Complementing the food stamp program, the DSWD has opened the Walang Gutom Kitchen along FB Harrison in Pasay City, a food bank and soup kitchen repurposed from a former Pogo site. Supported by donations from fast food chains, hotel groups, and private partners, it provides free breakfast and lunch to roughly 700 individuals daily and engages volunteers from schools, NGOs, and private companies. The facility also houses a pag-abot processing center for individuals experiencing street homelessness. Services include intake interviews, biometrics and ID processing, and case management. Since 2023, the DSWD has identified nearly 15,000 individuals in Metro Manila and has helped about half return to their home provinces, along with providing livelihood assistance. Under the administration's Bagong Pilipinas governance framework, the commitment to end hunger remains a core priority. Building on the gains of Walang Gutom 2027, the government aims to sustain momentum and uphold dignity, resilience, and opportunity for every Filipino.
Nagsimula ito, meron pa tayong counting notebook eh. May notebook tayo na gano'n. Ngayon, high-tech na po tayo ngayon. Kaya meron na lang kayong card at susunod ay yung tinignan namin na sistema na imbis na kailangan pa magrehistro, imbis na maglagay doon sa parang booklet, ay dyan na lang po sa computer, kayang-kaya po. Ay tuturuan po kayo namin kung paano gawin. Napakasimple lang po. Noong Oktubre, nung nakaraang na taon, ay 48.7% po ang sinasabing hunger rate na ginugutom pa. Dahil sa programang ito, yung numerong yan ay bumaba na po at naging 41.5% itong Marso ng 2025. Dahil dito sa programang ito, bumaba na po ang hunger rate, ang mga gutom sa household beneficiary. Lahat po sa beneficiaryo natin, bumaba na po ang gutom.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Monday, the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, reported that around 3,000 overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, are currently facing legal cases abroad, including 24 who remain on death row. In a media briefing in Mandaluyong City, DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said the Philippine government, through the DMW and in coordination with the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, continues to extend legal assistance to affected OFWs. Kakdak noted that Saudi Arabia has the highest number of Filipinos with legal cases, reflecting its large OFW population. These cases range from labor disputes to criminal charges across various regions. He added that many of the death row cases were inherited from the DFA when certain functions were transferred to the DMW following the agency's creation in 2021. DMW Assistant Secretary for Welfare, Maria Regina Galias, said most death row cases involve drug-related offenses. Aside from Malaysia, death row cases involving Filipinos are also recorded in parts of the Asia-Pacific, the Middle East, and Africa. To handle the caseload, Kakdak said, the DMW works with 25 retained foreign law firms and 10 in-house lawyers in close coordination with the DFA and Philippine embassies and consulates.
So we're handling around 3,000 action fund cases. As to whether merong sapat na mga abogado, ang naging instruction ko sa migrant workers offices is to have more than one lawyer. So, for instance, in Jeddah, we have, I think, two in-house lawyers and one retained lawyer. So, tatlo yun. And then yung retained lawyer, law firm yun. Hindi yun isang tao lang. So, two in-house lawyers and one retained law firm with lawyers. And then, yun nga, ang trend dapat namin is we should have more than one lawyer per location. Why? Una, sa volume of cases, potentially. And number two, so we could compare. We could assess kung sino magaling, sino ang pwedeng talagang kukunin talaga natin ng ganap, or do we need to hire some more kung kulang pa sila. So, these are the instructions. So I guess the answer to the question is it will always be the case that we will look out for more lawyers who will help our OFWs. Right now, how many lawyers do we have? 25 law firms. Retainers, 25 law firms. And then how many
Mga 10 po.
in-house?
10
10. So around 35. So it's safe to say na not necessarily to double that amount, but at least to increase cases, lawyers, especially where there are high volume cases like Saudi Arabia, the Gulf, UAE, and perhaps Hong Kong. So yun yung mga not necessarily to double the 35, but to increase the number of lawyers where they are needed, such as those where there are high volume of cases.
Kakdak also reported that 2 death row cases in Saudi Arabia were recently commuted. According to Kakdak, the number of Filipinos on death row has significantly declined from 40 to 70 in previous years to 49 last year and now down to 24. He attributed the drop in sustained legal representation, bilateral efforts, and reforms in host countries, particularly Malaysia, which has opened avenues for commutation. Kakdak assured the public that the DMW regularly monitors the welfare of OFWs with pending cases through jail visits and constant coordination with their families.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Tuesday said Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has mobilized his team to conduct an immediate review of the amounts and provisions agreed upon in the bicameral conference committee version of the proposed 2026 national budget. Presidential Communications Office or PCO Acting Secretary Dave Gomez said the President will spend the holidays working to ensure that all changes to the originally submitted National Expenditure Program or NEP are properly traced and carefully reviewed. Gomez said the review is meant to align public funds with the administration's priorities, ensuring the efficient and proper use of taxpayers' money. President Marcos stressed that the process underscores the president's commitment to Gomez stressed that the process underscores the president's commitment to transparency, accountability, and responsible fiscal management. The Senate and the House of Representatives concluded the bicameral Conference Committee deliberations on the proposed 2026 General Appropriations Act, or GAA, on December 18. The Senate has extended its session calendar to give lawmakers more time to review the proposed 2026 national budget. The proposed 2026 GAA is expected to be ratified by the Senate on December 29th once the enrolled bill is finalized and circulated to all members.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has reminded Filipinos to practice moderation during the holiday feast and to avoid using firecrackers as the country celebrates Christmas and welcomes the new year. The message was delivered in light conversational vlog released for Christmas 2025. In the vlog posted Tuesday, the president encouraged the public to enjoy traditional holiday dishes but cautioned against overeating, noting that health risks typically rise during the festive season. President Marcos also urged motorists to take extra care on the road amid the surge in holiday travel. Reiterating his long-standing appeal to avoid firecrackers, the president said choosing safer alternatives would help ensure a joyful and injury-free start to the new year.
Sana ay masaya at mapayapa ang inyong pagdiriwang kasama ang inyong mga kaanak at kaibigan. Sa pagkain, yung sakto lang po. Alam nyo naman, mataas ang mga kaso ng heart attack ngayong panahon dahil napaparami po ang kain natin ng taba. Ingat lang po sa pagmamaneho kung saan po kayo pupunta. At siyempre, mag-ingat sa mga paputok. Iwasan na natin yan. Doon na po tayo sa mga torotot at iba pang malingay na mga laruan. Para kumpleto at masaya ang pagsalubong natin sa darating na bagong taon. Merry Christmas! Happy New Year po!
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Wednesday dismissed as mere hearsay allegations that several cabinet secretaries were included in a supposed list of proponents behind multi-billion peso budget insertions for Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH infrastructure projects. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, in a text message, said, "The claims carry no probative value unless supported by authenticated documents." She stressed that information from unofficial channels should not be given weight without proper verification, noting that due process and official validation are required before the palace can issue any response. The statement came after Batangas 1st District Representative Leandro Leviste claimed that the late DPWH Undersecretary Maria Catalina Cabral had given him documents on September 4th naming high-ranking officials, including cabinet secretaries, allegedly linked to the agency's budget insertions. Leviste said he presented the files to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure on November 18 and 19 and later to the Office of the Ombudsman on November 26. His disclosure followed Cabral's death on December 19 after falling into a ravine in Benguet. Cabral had previously been accused by former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo of playing a central role in the agency's financial planning. She resigned on September 16th amid the controversy.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Wednesday, the Philippine National Police, or PNP, reported that Christmas celebrations across the country have so far remained generally peaceful. In a statement, the PNP said Christmas Eve masses on December 24th were held without incident, following the smooth and orderly security coverage of the 9-day Simbang Gabi from December 16 to 24. PNP Acting Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartatis Jr. said police officers were deployed to churches, transport terminals, and other crowded areas to ensure the safety of churchgoers and the public throughout the holiday season. He added that Christmas serves as a reminder of compassion, humility, and service, values that guide the PNP as a community-oriented and God-centered organization working closely with the public. Nartates said the orderly conduct of Simbang Gabi reflected both the public's cooperation and the dedication of police personnel who remained on duty during the holidays. He also thanked church leaders, local governments, force multipliers, and volunteers for supporting the PNP's peacekeeping efforts. The PNP said heightened police visibility and public safety operations will continue for the rest of the holiday period, including Christmas Day and New Year festivities. It reaffirmed its commitment to public safety under the Bagong PNP para sa Bagong Pilipinas framework of serbisyong mabilis, tapat, at nararamdaman, especially during major national and religious events.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday called on Filipinos to be a source of light and goodness as the nation marks the birth of Jesus Christ and the season of giving. In his Christmas Day message, the president joined the country in celebrating the joyful and blessed day of Christmas, describing it as a moment to honor Jesus Christ's birth, express gratitude for the year's blessing, and spend meaningful time with family and loved ones. President Marcos highlighted the uniquely warm and festive spirit of the Filipino Christmas, which he said offers countless moments to appreciate and cherish life's many blessings. The chief executive also urged Filipinos to remember the poor, the sick, calamity victims, and marginalized communities amid holiday celebrations. President Marcos Jr. encouraged the public to follow Christ's example by sharing their blessings and showing compassion and generosity, especially toward children, whom he described as the heart of the Christmas season. The president expressed hope that the deepest hopes of Filipinos will be fulfilled and that love and goodwill will continue to guide families and communities beyond the holidays.
Mga minamahal kong kababayan, pamilyang Pilipino, dito sa ating bansa o saan man panig sa mundo, sana ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan. Sa pagtatapos nitong taon, tayo ay magpasalamat para sa mga biyayang ating natanggap. Na sa lahat ng pagsubok na buong tapang nating hinarap, tayo ay naging matagumpay. Sa pagsasalubong natin sa Pasko at ng bagong taon, naway lalo pa tayo mabiyayaan ng magandang kalusugan, mapaligiran ng mabubuting pamilya at kaibigan, at magkaroon ng mas masaganang kabuhayan. Kaya po, mula sa aming pamilya, kami ay bumabati sa inyo ng maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. along with the First Family.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Thursday, the Department of Agriculture or DA announced that lower middle income Filipinos may be able to buy rice at 20 pesos per kilogram starting January 2026 under the expanded and accelerated rollout of the Benteng Bigas Meron or BBM na program. The initiative forms part of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s commitment to provide cheaper, high-quality rice for Filipinos, especially poor and vulnerable households. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr., in a recent year-end interview, said the intensified implementation aims to reach 15 million households in partnership with local government units or LGUs. At least 8 provinces will be prioritized from January to February, with Pangasinan at the top of the list. The remaining areas will be announced later. The BBM Na program is now present in all 82 provinces and is expected to complete its nationwide rollout before year-end, benefiting nearly 2 million households so far. Chu Laurel Jr. said LGUs have expressed strong support, noting that the national government will shoulder the full cost of the program while local governments will handle selling and logistics. He added that the 20 peso rice may also be made available in schools and workplaces through coordination with the Department of Education or DepEd and the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE. To ensure supply, he cited ongoing procurement of palay or rice husks to support local farmers. If the proposed 2026 General Appropriations Act or GA is approved without cuts, the DA expects to tap its 23 billion peso allocation, enough to purchase 1.5 million to 1.8 million metric tons of rice.
Next year nga, ang target natin is 15 million households, no? So, more than, I think, almost 2 million na tayo ngayon. So, but still have a long way to go. But we'll have a major launch in January, and we've targeted 8 provinces yata by January, February na ma-implement na yan. And for every week of the year, next year, meron na kaming lalabas na schedule of implementation ng 20 peso rice for yung mga middle income class, lower middle income class below. So, mass rollout na to at I'm sure sana naman matuwa ang taong bayan sa yung pangako ng ating Pangulo ay andyan na.
Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Commissioner Rosana Fajardo has submitted her courtesy resignation from the Independent Commission for Infrastructure or ICI effective December 31st, 2025. In a letter released Friday, Fajardo, who was appointed in September, said, "It had been a profound honor to work with colleagues committed to transparency, accountability, and public service." She noted that her work focused on strengthening financial oversight and investigating infrastructure projects. Fajardo said she developed evidence-gathering strategies, crafted detailed work plans, and supervised volunteer teams during investigations. Her recommendations, she added, were intended to improve government procurement and budgeting processes for infrastructure initiatives. Fajardo also expressed confidence that investigative and prosecutorial functions will now shift to agencies such as the Department of Justice or DOJ and the Office of the Ombudsman, which she said are better equipped to pursue accountability for contractors and government officials. She further cited the prioritization of bills creating the Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption and the Independent People's Commission, proposed permanent bodies with expanded powers to support the Ombudsman in prosecuting irregularities in government infrastructure projects.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.